You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur. Your host, Phil Better, and today's guest is the digital nomad that loves working with other digital entrepreneurs. He's been a copywriter for the past few years, and now he's committed to helping fellow entrepreneurs learn the skill sets to grow their business without having to hire a copywriter like him. He's the founder of Remote Scaling Lifestyles, under which he shares his expertise inside the Scaling Remotely Facebook group and inside his coaching program, all designed to help more entrepreneurs scale their impact and their income online. Everyone, please welcome our guest, digital entrepreneur Trevor Davis. Trevor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Phil. Excited to be here. How about you?
I'm excited. I love having entrepreneurs who are doing something different and just building, SaaS businesses. They're building something where they're putting lifestyle first, which is always something very interesting. So, Trevor, I'm very excited to have you here on the show.
Excited to be here.
All right. So I gave her a quick little rundown of an intro of a bio that you guys provided when you came on the show. But how about you give us a bit more of an introduction about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I think that intro pretty well hit the nail on the head. I am, currently hanging out in Toronto, looking out at a big blizzard coming down outside. And
that's not. Don't tell me that. I'm in Montreal. I'm down the road. I'm
not
looking forward to that.
Until you get hit too, man. So we're, bracing for the cold and making the most of it. But yeah, just count down the days, about a month away till head down to Asia, and excited for another adventure there where, like you said in the intro, I'll be continuing to work from there and manage some time zone differences and have more fun on a different part of the world.
How did you get started being like a digital nomad? Like we're probably close in. I'm guessing you're in the millennial age bracket. I'm hoping, or I'm just aging myself really mad.
You got it.
Right. So we grew up with the internet starting and hearing the you can make money online and not really believing it. Like, how did you become a digital nomad? Like, how did it start?
Yeah, great question. I think it really did start just from seeing it as a possibility in others, right? Like most things we see, and start putting ourselves in that vision and being like, oh, maybe I could do that. So that was me, about 5 years ago out in Europe, doing a classic backpacking trip and seeing, all the different things that culture had to offer and that part of the world had to offer. And then running into people in hostels and being like, whoa, why is your laptop out? Surely we're all here to party. They're like, no, I'm working. This is what I do. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So you can continue this lifestyle and work and travel, not just deplete your whole bank account while you're backpacking. That sounds great. So coming back from that trip, I really set that goal and set my sights on, let's test out this lifestyle. Let's, continue to roam the unknown. And, that was kind of just the vision that started from that trip and from that experience and seeing how others were doing it and knowing that it would be a pretty cool way to test out living, both working for myself and learning from other cultures, different parts of the world.
And how did you find that you wanted to be a copywriter specifically?
Yeah, I'd always actually, once I dove into like, okay, well, what do digital nomads do? How do they do that? Had seen the business model, had seen the, type of freelancing that copywriters, would jump into. If you're an English speaker, you can probably be a copywriter if you wanted to develop the skill sets, to some degree. But also being a business, undergraduate student, having, gone through the basics of marketing, advertising, and then having gotten into sales, I realized, I was writing sales emails that were going to be actually selling me more than if I was getting on calls and cold calling people. So I realized at that point that if I could write an email that could convert for one employer, I could do it for more clients and find some more alignment too in the types of clients I was working with as well. So that kind of sparked that transfer of skill sets from sales and persuasion and influence and human psychology to let's do it for the written word and do it in a way that can be done more compatibly with different time zones. As I say, I'm now looking to put that to the test in Asia and glad I'm not having to be on sales calls all day.
Oh no, that would not be at all. Now when you're doing your copywriting, do you focus on a particular niche or are you generally blasting out copy niches all over?
Yeah, typically I love working with, the online entrepreneur. It's kind of how I got started and working with some coaches that I had actually, started off investing in myself and, helping others with their conversions online was kind of my start in this world of online copywriting. So yeah, getting into coaches and consultants, expanded out into other service-based businesses, the agency owners these days, run from a fintech company to, a local personal trainer who, is here in the GTA. So really a vast kind of array of clients, but it's mainly been around the service-based entrepreneurs, the, impact-driven online business owners.
What was it like landing your first client when you were testing the waters as like an entrepreneur? Like, where did you find that first client?
Yeah, that's actually a story I like to tell. I guess there's alluded to it, but it was actually, when I had a nice new job offer from one of Uber's companies. And it was either I take this job and go into more sales and do more of what I've already done, which I know isn't going to be fitting into the blueprint of this vision I have to travel the world and be in business for myself. Or at the same time, I was having conversations with a coach that could, really get me started and help me kind of start figuring out how to get my own clients online. And so, yeah, I turned down that job offer without really having a plan in stone at that place. So instead of taking on more new income, I decided I'd dish out some of my savings instead to make this shift, make this jump. And that's where I got started working with this coach who happened to also be, spending a lot on ads and not actually nurturing his email list. And having had experience in writing, sales emails, I hopped in and started helping him out with writing that sales, that nurture sequence, writing those emails and helping him out with some automation there. So got my feet wet, got me started, and kind of opened me up to having some case studies, having some actual samples of work I could then leverage and continue to work as I developed my network and started putting myself out there as this new identity of being a copywriter.
I love it. With the success of clients, specifically, obviously, with your first one seeming always to be the greatest one in my books, I always love seeing the success my first clients get. You must have racked up some memories of wins for maybe yourself personally, reaching those goals that you wanted to reach as when you started the quest to be a digital nomad, or even when you saw the wins that you got do you have any memories that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of memorable client wins. And just to your point about wins for myself too, I mean, just to kind of put it through that frame, it's all around whenever I'm helping a client reach their own goals, whether that be, revenue target, a new client, target they're trying to grow and expand their business and serve more clients. And that was the same thing for me personally, was having that personal lifestyle goal where, by January of 2022, I was going to be living abroad and starting off this nomad journey, and excited to say a year later, reflecting on those memories of when I first touched down on the beach in Costa Rica and, was enjoying that lifestyle and making that happen for myself, really motivates me to keep doing the same for my clients and seeing them get their first client or seeing them, really hit that next milestone of expanding their program or developing that next, iteration because they've got the revenue now to invest in that growth. So, one of my clients I worked with for most of last year, and through the year before, she went and cleared her first six figures in just over a few months, and seeing that happen while I was really writing all that copy alongside her and helping manage her challenges and her kind of growth initiatives was really exciting. It was great to see, and knowing that I was helping her brainstorm, contribute, align on strategy, go through all of that to really get to where she was at that point. It was an awesome win to celebrate.
It's a great memory to share, and to inspire the audience as well to see that those are some of the wins that you want when you are a digital entrepreneur, to get the wins for your customers, your clients, so that you can celebrate along with them. And it's not just focus on the money, because then you're going to deal with clients that you don't really want to deal with, because you're chasing the money. If you could give a tip about copywriting, a general tip for people trying to wrap their head around copyright, what would it be?
I think, I could just go to the old adage of really features tell, but benefits are what sell. Right. And, that kind of sums up everything about, it's not just about what you're, going to throw at people with the different videos they'll get in a, platform, the number of calls they'll get, the, certain perks they might see inside of, working with you. But it's about what does that do for them? Right. When I talk about these client wins, and I talk about the win that was me getting out in my, my lifestyle, it was that big personal goal. It was that real, ambition, that big driver that was taking us through. So remember to frame in your copy, in your content, what the real benefits that your reader or any client would get. And that's really the main line, I would say. And the next one really would just be to sum it up with, remember, if you're writing to everyone, you're also writing to no one. So know who you're writing to, know, how your offer is positioned in the market and how you're getting that messaging across to them through benefit-driven language.
Now, switching over, what is it like doing remote living while you're scaling your lifestyle remotely? And most people think they need to have a secure spot to grow their life, to get the benefits of, the growth from the company. What is the benefit of working with you then in the remote scaling lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of just turning that whole idea on its head, right? We've kind of always been told that, you need to have the classic, white picket fence and, the corporate, cushy job that'll make sure you have a sense of security. But as we've seen through the pandemic and even in recent times, with the layoffs happening at mass, even for people who've been around at a company for over, 10 years, and they just see a default kind of automated email, and now they're blocked out of the system, and that is their official termination. No talking to managers, no official ceremony to walk them off and thank them for their hard work. I think we're turning the idea of security on its head, and what that means to be safe and secure in our digital age. And I mean, that, Phil, right? To be able to invest in yourself to be able to really create this sense of security in 2023 and beyond. So I think that's kind of the core premise here, right? We're being self-sovereign kind of beings, being able to create our own sense of security through what we do in our work. And if that means we can do it from home and be able to do it with kids running around, and that's the lifestyle that people want to be able to support, then that's awesome. Or if that means let me cut costs and enjoy eating out and spend more time on the fun things that I want to spend time on while exploring different parts of the world, then I can do that. And it's actually cheaper to live abroad than it is to keep paying for insurance and rent here in Toronto. So just changing the perspective, opening people's eyes to how there's different ways to keep developing, I guess, sustainability in your business and your lifestyle. And I think people think you need a set environment to have consistency, and you need that environment to really be developing the positive habits or the momentum you need in your business. But if you have the right structure in place, you can do that really from wherever, and with the right systems, it's possible to do while just bouncing around Airbnbs every couple months.
When did you start going remote? Like, when did you start doing the remote living lifestyle?
That was just over a year ago. So like I said, set that goal for 2022. And, I'd spent a full year abroad in Europe years prior, and, had kind of tested that out while being able to do it a little faster with a little less focus on work. But now I've kind of been able to blend both that, explore the culture, immerse yourself, dive in and experience everything that the area has to offer while you can still go and work, a good few hours each day to get things done, move the needle, and, keep the balance going. So yeah, about a year of experience in that with a little bit of time back home in between.
Where are some of the places that you're planning on going this year?
Got a potential dozen lined up, really. But no, everywhere in Southeast Asia, starting off with Vietnam, looking at hanging out in Da Nang, got a nice Airbnb lined up there, and going to take it from there, really. Trying to time our seasons to go and hop into Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, looking at places nearby like Australia, or cultures that have always intrigued me, like Japan, where, don't have to go and get jet lagged for a 2-week holiday in Japan, but could just go and enjoy it for a short stint, hopping over from another nearby Southeast Asian country. So those are a few of them on the list, and I'm sure more will emerge as I go out there and start talking to other nomads who've been living out there for a little while.
I'm really excited to talk to you in a year's time to see the adventures you've had with your business. We are coming near the end, and it sucks because I am having such a great time chatting with you. We will ask the Spark question of the episode, Spark being that from the Seek Discomfort Boys and on YouTube. If your younger self were to see you now, what is something they wouldn't?
Probably that this lifestyle is even possible. Any version of younger me, maybe beyond, the 3 years ago, 4 years ago version that first, set the goal to be able to do this. And maybe, a few years prior to that, thinking that it was some degree of entrepreneurship was going to be on my horizons, but not knowing that it would involve the digital nomadism, not involving, all the other aspects of the journey that it's taken me now. I'd say younger me would be pretty proud.
All right, Trevor, I'm going to jump off the screen here. I'm going to give you the last little bit. Tell my audience where they can find you, where they can support you, so that they could find how to become a remote living specialist.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I'm over on Facebook in the remote scaling community. Can hang with me there. Really just, connect with me on Facebook. That's probably the best place. More YouTube content to come this year as I explore Asia and share lessons learned along the way. But for all the copywriting training, all the, support in your marketing journey, you can hang out with us there in the Scaling Remotely Facebook group.
Awesome. Trevor, I want to thank you so much for being here in the show. It was a pleasure talking with you. To my audience, make sure you check out the show notes down below to connect with Trevor. Trevor, any last words before we end the show?
No, just going to take what's on my sweater here and throw that out to people. Roam the unknown, pura vida, and thanks for having me on today, Phil.
You're very welcome. And to my audience, remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.